Welcome to the Stochastic MLB Strategy Show. I'm your host, Neil Orfield. While you're coming in, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. Looked like we had some success with the show yesterday. I had several people messaging me about big wins. I saw somebody got a live final seat on FanDuel, so fun to see that. Fun to see success coming in early. Glad to be back here with you guys. Glad this is not a live before lock. This is my preferred format. This is a strategy show, so we can take a look at what the pros did yesterday, kind of go into this slowly. We don't have to jump right into the games. We can talk some strategy as we go. So this is going to be fun. And also, I think this might be, for a little while at least, this is going to be my last solo show. I'm going to have Adam ship my money share. Now NBA season winding up. Adam is willing to join me on these MLB shows. So we're going to be doing some two-man shows starting on, I believe, Monday. It's going to be the same time, still noon Eastern, 11 real America time. But yeah, I'll be doing these shows with Adam Scher, maybe go a little bit closer to the usual format that you've seen in the past, where we will break it down game by game. So really looking forward to that. But first, this show, I want to start by looking at what the pros did yesterday. We had a 5-game slate and a 6-game slate. Kind of interesting. We will start with the early 6-game slate, see what's going on there. We had this $15 50K to first, so we can take a look at what pros did in the largest field GPP. I should mention this show is sponsored by Bet365. If you live in New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, or Virginia, we've got a great deal for you. If this is not your first time in the show, you've listening to the show, you've probably heard this before, but you just bet $1. All you have to do is risk $1. You'll get $200 in bonus bets. Just deposit $1 on Bet365. You need to make a bet with your money, and then you will get $200 in bonus bets at Bet365. Again, that's just New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, or Virginia. But in those 4 states, this is an absolute can't miss offer. You're only risking $1 and the upside is unlimited. So make sure you check that out if you live in one of those states. Again, New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, Virginia, Bet365. Great deal. The link is in the description of this video. So check that out. And of course, the legal age for gambling in most states is 21 plus. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's jump in, take a look at this slate a little bit. We'll just look at, okay, JCB had 300 lineups. All right, I'm seeing this some people got married. Apparently, DraftKings is opening up the rules a little bit. I don't know what's going on here, to be honest. This 300 lineups. Should I refresh? I'll refresh and see if anything changes. All right, early slate. All right, well, we'll see what's going on here. Maybe they're just duplicating each one. Where do we want to start here? Anybody in particular you guys want to look at to start? Otherwise, I'll pick somebody at random, one of these pros. Good morning, guys. Thank you for coming in. I see people in chat. Glad you're here with me. Don't make me do this by myself in the morning. Not really morning. I guess it's noon Eastern time, but still feels early to me. All right, anybody? Let's jump in and look at Frankie Bourne's lineups. We'll start there. Frankie Bourne. Going to take a look at his lineups, just what kind of stacks he was running. One of the DFS OGs, been crushing it forever. Look at his stack types. So this is a 6-game slate. I'm expecting larger stacks, and yeah, we're seeing a lot of 5-3s, 5-2s. Did Frankie run any 4-man primary stacks? Nope, just 5-3s and 5-2s for Frankie. Typically the way I go to. So similar approach there for me. And I don't think we have to look at batter versus pitcher. I think we can just assume on a 6-game slate, nobody's playing batters against their pitchers. So yeah, just looking at the stack types, a lot of full stacks using these 5-3s. Actually, not that many, just a handful, 10 or so of these 5-3 stacks, stacking it up all the way. And then a whole lot of 5-2s, allowing for a one-off to kind of raise the projection, get a little bit different. All right, who else do we want to look at? Giant Squid. That's an interesting player. Take a look at some Giant Squid lineups. I guess this is hardly a deep dive when we're just looking at the stack types, but I think it's interesting to look day to day if things are changing. All right, a lot of 5-3s, full stacks for Giant Squid, and then again, down to some 5-2s. And after we look at just the stack types, we'll start here, and then we'll look at exposures to different players on the slate as well. and then some naked 5-mans, some 4-4s, some 4-3s. All right. So again, he played every single type of stack that I am likely to play on a 6-game slate. 4-3, 4-4, 5 with some one-offs, 5-2s, and 5-3s. Those are the exact stack types that I'm willing to play on a 6-game slate. So glad to see Giant Squid playing similarly. Let's take a look at Josh Engelman. Again, bunch of 5-3s. A lot of 5-3s for Josh, and then some 5-2s. 5 and then one-offs. So all primary 5-man stacks for Josh on a 6-game slate. And we'll take a look at exposures later. See if any of you have anybody else you want to throw out there. Nice. Wex took first place in a double up. It's almost painful to take first place in a double up if you don't also have it somewhere else. But just because you don't really. Yeah. Oh, Eric Hoffman says, look at that turd DFS hop rocking. I like that idea. Oh, and we got Bro in here saying he wants to look at JBC. All right. I'll look at those guys. Eric Hoffman, of course, is DFS hop rocking for those who don't know. But I will jump in. I was thinking about looking at Hofbrocking's lineups. So we'll start there, and then we'll look at JBC. What did you do yesterday, Eric? You can just tell us. All right, here is Eric Hoffman's lineups. And yeah, a bunch of, just a handful of 5-3s for Hofbrocking. Doesn't believe in the 5-3. Then we got a bunch of 5-2s. Whole lot of 5-2s for Hofbrocking. If you don't remember, Hofbrocking and Peter Viles, Bro, I would say these two have had some of the best MLB seasons I've ever seen. Hofbrocking last year, Bro the year before that. I think those two members of chat here, two of the best MLB seasons I've ever seen. So glad to have you guys here checking out what I'm saying about your lineups. You can correct me if I say anything dumb. But yeah, Hofbrocking, just a bunch of 5-man full stacks. What do I do here? Okay. And then I will take a look at JBC. I don't think of JBC as being an MLB guy. Maybe I'm misremembering. I think of him as more like NBA. I guess he plays everything. He wins at every different type of sport. All right, a bunch of 5-3s for JBC. Just a handful of 5-3s. A lot of 5-2s. It looks like 5-2 is the most popular among the pros on this slate, on this 6-game slate. Yep, just all 5-man primary stacks. A lot of 5-2s, a lot of 5-3s. Oh, let's look at Steve Colts. Sorry, Steve Buzzard to Colts. Again, it is early. I struggle this early. I'm doing my best here. All right. Looking at Steve Buzzard. Couple of 5-3s. So not as many 5-3s, honestly, as I would expect from a lot of these pros. We saw some have still a lot of 5-3s, but a lot of 5-2s, some 5-mans with one-offs. Not as many 4-man primary stacks either. We saw a few pros mixing in 4-man primary stacks, but honestly not as many as I had thought. Bro says JBC has been crushing MLB so far. Okay. Yeah, I think he's probably always been good at MLB. I probably just am not remembering that because it's been a little while since we've had an MLB season. It's been NBA season, and I know he crushes NBA. I know he does well at NFL. Yeah, M the Grit. Yep, I just did the Colts just now. That's what we're looking at right here. So here's Steve DeColtz's primary stacks. All 5-mans. He didn't do any 4-man primary stacks, and he did a mix of mostly 5-man and then one-offs, some 5-2s, and then just a couple of 5-3s here. And I kind of wonder if that's incidental, if like he just required 5-man primary stack. Now he wouldn't have gotten this many 2-mans, I don't think, unless he forced it in. It could be that those 5-3s are just incidental, though. Like he just put in, 5-2 into his stacks, and then the one-off happened to be from the 3-man stack as well. That could be what happened here. I haven't talked to Steve about it, but a lot of 5-man primary stacks. Who else have I never looked at here? You know, I always like looking at Nerdy Tenor. Ricky D always interesting. Did OCD already. I think I looked at Shady Advice and Royal Pain yesterday. Have we looked at the whistles? Maybe we haven't looked at whistles go woo. I don't remember if we have. Aha, bro. All right, you 150 max this one. I think Peter's been a mixed bag so far, whether he is fully playing the 150 these early MLB slates. So when we've got bro 150 max, and let's take a look at that. Bunch of 5-3 stacks, bunch of 5-2 stacks, and some 5-mans with no secondary stack. Anybody have any takeaways from this? I'm seeing a lot of, my primary takeaway is it seems like a lot of pros have moved to 5-2 stacks. I think that seems to be the most common here. And then the mix for different pros is different for everybody. Zeroth. All right, we'll take a look at Zeroth. I think of Zeroth typically, like primarily as being a FanDuel player. But looks like he 150 maxed on DraftKings on this slate as well. Handful of 5-3s, a lot of 5-2s, a lot of 5-2s. Okay. So that's what Zeroth did. Maybe he just ran 5-2s and got some incidental 5-3s as well. All right, I'm jumping in chats. Yuta. Yeah, Yuta, that's a good idea. I'll take a look if Yuta played this slate. I didn't see him there, but I didn't look that hard. Peter says, expand the tabs on the right, maybe like player exposure and stack. The Great. I did not make out great yesterday. It was my night slate. Actually, both the slates, I kind of last minute just entered some lineups. I ran kind of the way I showed you last Saturday, but not really doing a lot of curating. Didn't even didn't barely curated my lineups. All right, let's see. Expand columns. Why is this not working? Player usage. Stack combos. Should we take a look at? Let's take a look at stack combos. For this is for Zeroth. A lot of Yankees and Phillies stacks. I'm guessing this is Phillies primary stack, Yankees secondary. So a lot of Philly stacks for Zeroth, and then a mix of secondary there. Is this what you wanted to look at, Peter, or maybe you and I should talk maybe after a show sometime, and you can show me? Although I guess this might be my last solo show for a bit. We'll see. 10 out of 46 150 maxers made money. 3 of them tied for first, Peter says. If you do not follow Peter on Twitter, I'd recommend it. Peter always giving out good info on how the pros are doing in DFS. Not as consistent as he once was, I don't think. Harry Peter, but used to do consistently, like every day, a rundown of what the pros did, and always a good follow. Peter provides a lot of interesting information, so check him out. It's just at bro, right? I should look this up. You can expand stack Houston. Oh yeah, thank you, Peter. Okay, Peter did DM me. Yeah. So it's just at bro on Twitter. All right. So this is what Peter was asking about. Yeah, good call. That's a good idea. Taking a look at these specific stacks. So this is these are the stack combos that Zeroth was looking at. Did a whole lot of Philadelphia 5-man stacks. That's a good idea. I should have been looking at this. And then player usage. Yeah. So the player usage we'll compare against pros altogether as well. But a lot of Zach Wheeler. Zeroth, are you here? Are you just a Phillies fan? Is that what's going on here? Or did you just super love the Phillies yesterday? All right, let's take a look at that same info. Let's go to Nerdy Tenor. Let's see what Nerdy Tenor did. I always like to see what Nerdy Tenor did. If I can find him. First, we'll look at the stack types. Bunch of 5-3s, 5-2s, 5 naked, 4-4, 4-3, 4-2-2. So yeah, he's been getting more and more interesting with his stack types. and I don't know exactly what my takeaway is. It probably means that we should be stacking more. It's counterintuitive to me, to be honest, with these like these 2-2-2 type stacks, 3-man primary stacks. It's counterintuitive to me to not stack up more, just because the correlation is going to be stronger the more you run. But he's also one of the smartest guys I know, one of the smartest guys, I think one of the smartest DFS players out there. And he also has his machine learning helping him out with making new stacks. So maybe something that we should be considering a little bit more, I guess, is my main takeaway. Or he's trying to throw me off the scent. He knows what we're reviewing his lineups, and he's saying, I'm just going to mess with them and do a bunch of 2-2 lineups. I don't think he would do that. So I guess my primary takeaway is maybe we do need to be considering more different types of stacks. I know that's something that Adam Ship My Money was actually talking about last year, that he thought maybe we should be stacking a little bit less, something that he wanted to examine a little bit. And actually the conversation that I had with Adam, I said, yeah, that so one thing that I would look at if I'm thinking about doing that is Nerdy Tenor's lineups, because he's got machine learning incorporated. Maybe if he's not doing any of those weird type of these 3-3-2, 2-2-2-2 stacks, then it's probably a bad idea. But now I'm seeing that he is doing it. So maybe Adam was ahead of the curve in his thinking that we should maybe try some smaller stacks here. And then in terms of stack combos, Nerdy Tenor, I guess because he did so many different types of stacks, we're not going to have any huge, it's going to be pretty spread out here. So don't have to look closely at that. A lot of Kansas City 2-player stacks. Oh, the stack's getting bigger. Okay. He played a lot of the Phillies as well. Some Seattle, White Sox. And then, yeah, he also had a lot of Zach Wheeler, Hunter Green. Let's take a look at Ricky D. Sometimes he will very much condense his player pool, Ricky D, like his different types of stacks. So he can be interesting to look at just to see which types of stacks, if he is condensing, which I haven't looked at it yet, but if he is, which stacks was he targeting here? A lot of 5-3s. A lot of 5-3s for Ricky D. Is it all? And then, so okay, some 5-2s here, some 5-man with one-offs. What stack combos was he playing? So pretty spread out, actually. Phillies and White Sox. Yeah, a lot of different stack types here. So this was not a slate where he condensed his stack pool all that much, it looks like. Wait, what was that? These are the, 5-3s. Okay. 5-2s. Okay. And then a lot of Seattle here. Phillies as well. So it looks like a lot of the pros are playing a lot of the Phillies. It was the Phillies versus Hunter Green, right? It was Phillies Reds was the game. So there was some volatility there in that matchup, kind of a scumdacker special to play the Phillies stacks on the one side. You could play Hunter Green as well in different lineups, if I'm remembering this right. I have not looked at Brick yet. That's a good idea. Yeah, Charlie says Tampa is a good stack again today. Yeah, they're I think the top stack on the board once again. They're just crushing it. Great matchup. All right, yeah, let's take a look at Brick. Colin McCourt asks, anyone else getting ownership issues on Fantasy Cruncher? Yeah, I messaged the team about that, so that'll be fixed at some point today. Let's see if it's... Looks like it's not resolved yet. Don't worry though; they'll get it fixed. Not sure why it's not importing, because we have the ownership info in the other tools, just not showing up in Fantasy Cruncher yet. So we'll get it fixed. And then Brick, another one of the OGs, one of the best of all time. Let's take a look at him. Some 5-3s, 5-2s, 5-mans, 4-4s, 4-3s, and he's also like Nerdy Tenor, Brick also experimenting with some new smaller stacks. All right, stack combos for Brick. Also pretty spread out here. Casting a wide net. And of course, with all the different types of stacks, very spread out. A lot of Yankees for Brick, 5-man stacks, some Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Kansas City, but still fairly spread out. Not much Houston. So Houston was one of the teams that I was targeting yesterday. That did not work out for me. Good to see Sonny Gray in excellent form, 13 strikeouts, but did not help my DFS. So that's another reason it did not go well for me yesterday. My primary stacks were Houston on this slate and then Toronto on the night slate. Neither of them worked out. So far, my hypothesis that ground ball pitchers might be hurt a little bit more, that stacks might do better against ground ball pitchers than they have in the past, not working out so far. San Francisco 2-player stacks. So 5-mans, 2-mans, 3-mans, still a lot of Yankees. And the White Sox, Twins. So fairly spread out there for Brick. Again, eating the chalk at pitcher. Aaron Judge, I don't think he was that chalky yesterday, right? He was kind of expensive. We'll look at that. And then we can also look at the evening slate. We've got a little bit of time here, and then we'll jump into today's slate as well. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm with you, M the Great. I think I'm going to stick with it too. I think it's worth exploring, just a change in the game that maybe people aren't going to catch on to really quickly. Oh, Judge was like 30%, Jeffrey Outlaw says. Okay, so he was pretty chalky. So in this case, Brick did eat the chalk on Aaron Judge, but he also maybe stacked it up more. So maybe more people played him as a one-off, and he stacked up Aaron Judge. All right, so rather we won't jump into any other pros, but we will just look at the overall. We'll look at the exposures relative to the field. Yeah, here we have Aaron Judge, 30.9%. So yeah, pretty chalky there. All right, we'll jump in. We'll check out. Just grab 10 of them here. Trying to get the same ones that I have already looked at. I have here 1, 2, 3. Oh, you can do more than I was thinking you could only do 10. I was having trouble the other day adding an 11th pro to look at. So, okay. But we've got 11 here, and I'm just going to look at, you can see sorted by ownership here. So this is Zach Wheeler, by far the highest owned player on the slate. So we're sorted by ownership. We can just see who was overweight to the field, who was under the weight to the field, who was about even with the field. On Zach Wheeler, you can see 55% owned, over, about even, over. So everybody kind of ate the chalk on Zach Wheeler yesterday. Giant Squid, the lowest with 7% under the field, still had 47%. So mostly eating the chalk at pitcher, at least with Zach Wheeler. Now we get to Hunter Green, 33% owned. BK Ryder down at 13%. So he did not eat the chalk so much. Josh did not eat the chalk on Hunter Green. Outside of those two, yeah, Z-Roth ate the chalk on bro. Nerdy just slightly below the field. JBC slightly below the field. Giant Squid, FJ Bourne. A lot of pros were actually well above the field on Hunter Green. And interesting. So now Aaron Judge, the first bat that was chalky, 31%, pretty massive there. But BK Ryder ate the chalk. Brick ate the chalk. The Colts, Hofbrauking, Frankie Bourne, half the field. So he's the first who didn't really eat the chalk there. Giant Squid, JBC. Josh was well under the field. Nerdy Tenor under the field. Peter under the field, and then Z-Roth above the field there. But a lot of players actually played it pretty close to the field on Aaron Judge, with a few outliers here or there. But a lot of the time you'll see the highest owned bats, the pros are going to be well under the field. Not sure what the difference was here, but it's not, nobody was playing 50, 60% there. Yeah, Stephen Leavitt says, Josh did an experiment last year of no stacks and GPPs, and it did not work out well, so don't do that, kids. Yeah, I don't see anybody doing no stacks. I just see some people doing like 3, smaller stacks here or there. Who is your low-owned home run hitter today on the early slate of DraftKings? Yeah, we'll take a look at that once we're looking at today's slate. I don't have one off the top of my head, so we'll get there. But yeah, we'll just a couple more players we'll look at. Alex Cobb down at 30%. I guess still everybody, pretty close to the field on not even really chalky for a pitcher, 30%. Kind of a mixed bag here. JBC well into the field, Josh well into the field, but everybody else got Zeroth above the field. A lot of people pretty close to the field, though, on Alex Cobb. Peter, Squid, Frankie, Eric, Steve, BK Ryder. Anything standing out to anybody? Full fade on Anthony Rizzo for Frankie. What did he have of Judge? He had 17% Judge. Okay. Maybe just didn't play that many Yankees stacks. All right, let's take a look at the evening slate. Actually, I'll take a look at your comments first just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Colin McCord asking, missed what was said, stick with what am the great. With my theory that maybe ground ball pitchers are going to be a little bit worse off with all the changes in the rules this year. And as a result, maybe we're going to be able to find some lower owned stacks that could do well against ground ball pitchers. Because typically you don't want to be facing ground ball pitchers. They're less likely to give out home runs. But I think with the rule changes, we're going to maybe see more stacks be able to get to ground ball pitchers a little bit earlier, get on the base, maybe steal some bags. So I think that there might be a little bit more upside in bats in stacks against ground ball pitchers than there has been in the past. And my hope is that maybe the field won't get there as quickly as we are. We can maybe try to, we don't want to take like a bad matchup just because it's a ground ball pitcher. But if we have stacks that already look kind of good, then maybe give them a little extra boost for if they are a ground ball pitcher, maybe hope that is the case, that maybe the stack can get to them a little bit earlier, maybe get to the bullpen. So I'm just kind of just a small factor for me trying to get to more stacks against ground ball pitchers than maybe I would have in the past, because I don't think the field wants to do that. Did I get this shirt from Duluth Trading Company? I think I got it on Amazon. So I don't actually know the company, but it might be, maybe. All right, let's take a look at the late slate. If you're playing XFL today, you have 29 minutes. Sadly, I had to take the slate off because this show is going to be going on when it starts. Not something I do lightly, taking off an XFL slate. I'm just going to play the showdowns. I think I have one lineup in there. Okay. So the evening slate, just 5 games. And this one, it looks like they did not allow all the pros to play 300 lineups in this one. All right. So we'll take a look. Alex. All right. Alex, 150 max this one. So let's take a look what Alex did. All right. Good number of 5 3s, 5 2s, 5 mans with no secondary stack, 4 4s, and 4 3s. And then in terms of combos, very spread out once again. Washington, LA, Dodgers, Washington, Colorado. So these are all the 5-2 stacks. Yeah, very spread out. You see, you don't see many combos where he has like 10-15 out of 150. It's all very spread out. 5-3 stacks, Colorado, Milwaukee, Washington, Milwaukee. Again, very spread out. See if we can find. I wonder if anybody did anything more aggressive where they did play a ton of the same combo. We'll take a look at Broflex here. Some 5-3s, 5-2s. All right, so Broflex got into some of these more experimental stack types too. Another one of the GOATs. Been around forever, winning for many years now. Stat combos, very spread out. Bunch of 5-2s. 2-2s. So that was, how many of those did he run? 2-2 stacks. Overall, though, not any stack combos where you got just to a ton of them. How about stacks? Yeah, good amount. Washington, 18 different Washington. Oh, those are 2-player stacks, though. So not even, nothing too out of the normal there. Toronto. So he also played. I'm glad to see that. So I was on the same page as Broflex. Played a lot of Toronto 5-man stacks. That was my approach as well. Some Dodgers, Arizona, and then drop down to some of these. Didn't the Coors slate. So we had, I guess that's what we kind of want to look at here. What were the pros doing with the Coors? And they had 6 5-man stacks of Washington, 6 of Colorado. Good mix, though. Let's take a look at Epi. 5-3s, 5-2s, 5 naked. That's all they did. All primary stacks were 5-mans for Epi. Stat combos, very spread out once again. Stack usage, okay, good amount of San Diego as his 5-man stack. San Diego and Toronto. So those are my 2 primary 5-man stacks. Good to see that. Milwaukee, his number 3 there. He was pretty condensed here. So he had 29 5-man stacks of San Diego, 28 of Toronto, 27 Milwaukee, 26, and then a drop down 9 and 5. Didn't have any Colorado 5-man stacks here. Only 5 Arizona. So definitely was not playing a ton of the Coors game. So much more condensed than we've seen with some of these others. Jay Blake the King. Take a look at him. Whole lot of 5-3s for Jay Blake the King, some 5-2s, 5s, 4-4s, 4-3s, and then also did a mix. Stack combos. Yeah, very spread out once again. That's actually kind of a lot of, this isn't more than we've seen with some others. So 9 Atlanta and Washington stacks, 8 Dodgers, Washington. So not as spread out as some of the others. Here he did have a full game stack of Colorado, Washington, 7 of them. Dodgers, Washington. Otherwise a bit spread out. Let's take a look at OCD again. A lot of 5-3s, some 5-2s, and 5-man. So all primary 5-man stacks. Very spread out. Some Atlanta, San Diego, just very spread out overall. But these are 5-2 stacks. And the 5-3 stacks, yeah, none of these stack combos. What's the biggest? We have here 7 Atlanta and San Diego, 5-2 stacks. That is his largest stack size combo. Also played a lot of Toronto 5-man stacks. Good to see that. A lot of the Dodgers. Actually, a good amount of Colorado 5-man stacks for OCD. Atlanta, San Diego, and then a drop down to some of these other teams. All right, I'm going to take my water sip now. Yeah, so what is that banging sound, Fanatic asks? I don't know. It must be my mouse. I probably need to switch out my mouse, my mouse pad. Yeah, Demetrius Mac, I am on Stochastic. So if you get Stochastic Plus with Fantasy Cruncher, you will find Fantasy Cruncher right on the Stochastic homepage. You can also buy, Fantasy Cruncher has its own site, but what I'm looking at here is on the Stochastic site. So this is Fantasy Cruncher. This is Stochastic Plus Fantasy Cruncher. So this is on the Stochastic site. Yeah, Fanatic, it's not a real mouse pad. It's It's a long story, but I'll switch that on. I've been looking for a soft mouse pad. Hopefully that will solve this issue. It's never been an issue on shows where I have somebody else on the show. So it's just now that I'm on a solo show, it's really more pronounced for some reason, just like way louder for some reason, apparently. Anyone else ballsy playing Gore yesterday? I don't know if I did. I did play yesterday, Fnatic, but I did not after doing the show in the morning and being all excited about it. I was pretty excited about different stacks, and then I was doing content all day and didn't end up actually having time to like make lineups the way I wanted to. So it was a little bit disappointing in that sense. All right, let's see. Will there be a show for the night slate tonight? No, we'll take a look at the night slate a little bit. There might be actually. I'm not on it. I don't think there is a show for tonight's slate. I think this is it for today, because we've got afternoon NBA that we're gonna have a show for. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. Let's see. Do I have this open somewhere? What's today? Still getting used to our new schedule. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head right now, but I don't believe that there is another slate later, another show later for that slate. All right, I think that'll do it for. Actually, let's take a look at some of the pros relative to the ownership on some of the top guys. So we will go back to the overview. Look at Alex. Trying to do some different pros here. All right, good number here. All right, so Brandon Woodruff, top owned player on the slate, 62%. Alex way under, Buffoon way under. Get Confident Stupid a bit under. Giant Squid almost locked him. JMB almost locked him. Lariota 71%. So kind of a wide range here. But the lowest we have of anybody is 30% on 62% owned pitcher. So again, generally pros eating the chalk. Clayton Kershaw 54%. Buffoon's down all the way down at 13%. Broflex down at 3%. Giant Squid 7%. So not as willing to eat the chalk on Clayton Kershaw. Apparently the pros are seeing something with Kershaw that they don't like. A lot of fades there. Mookie Betts 25%. Actually, we're seeing some pros willing to eat the chalk and even go above the field on Mookie Betts. Alex BK Ryder, Giant Squid with the field. Danny Alms about with the field. Full fade for JMB. Buffoon less than half the field. We've seen any major stands here? Let's see, what's Alex's biggest stand? Okay, so he has most of Kershaw. BK Ryder has the most of Woodruff, Buffoon, Flaherty, and Otani. Brick eat the chalk with Woodruff. Broflex played Woodruff, and then Skip Kershaw went down and played a lot of Flaherty there. Danny Alms, a lot of Woodruff, still played a lot of Kershaw. Garnes, Woodruff, and Bassett. Get Confident Stupid, a lot of Kershaw, some Woodruff. Giant Squid, ton of Brandon Woodruff, a little bit of Jesse Winker. Actually, that's a good amount of 44% Jesse Winker, so kind of a big stand there. Woodruff, Flaherty, Kershaw. Yeah, in general, though, we're not seeing nobody's top owned player is a bat. It's all pitchers at the top. And then more spread out with the bats. All right, you guys want to look at today's slate a little bit? We got two slates for both sites, both FanDuel and DraftKings, two slates each. So let's jump in and look at those. Andrew asking, who would you say are the top pitchers for the early slate? Well, we will jump into that now. Is this the early slate? Yes, early DraftKings. Let me refresh just to make sure we're up to date here. So for the early DraftKings slate, oh, sorry, this is the top stacks. We'll look at pitchers first. Interesting. So Nick Lodolo, number one over Jeffrey Springs, surprises me a little bit, to be honest. Big strikeout upside in Philadelphia, but he's down at 8,300. We've got Nick Lodolo with a 31% chance of being the top two pitcher on the slate, coming in at 43% ownership. Again, I think we're going to see pros generally eat the chalk there. Can maybe go to the other side, play some Phillies as well in your non-Lodolo lineups. But yeah, currently looks like Nick Lodolo, the number one arm on the early slate. Senga, rookie against Miami at home, getting actually some positive leverage here. 23% ownership, 26% chance of being a top two pitcher. Not that often you find positive leverage on one of the top pitchers. So interesting there. Jeffrey Springs, great matchup with Oakland. Maybe the most talented pitcher on the slate. 44% ownership, 26% chance of being a top two pitcher. Down at 8,500. Pretty interesting there. Justin Steele going up against the Rangers, 27% ownership, 23% chance of being a top two. Slightly over-owned, but again, not a big issue. And as you would guess, going up against Tampa, not an ideal setting there. Joey Wentz, it's the pitchers with the toughest matchups look like they're mostly at the bottom. No real aces on this slate, so you could spread out your pitcher ownership a little bit. But yeah, the guys at the top looking good up here. Not as much of a break as I would have expected between Justin Steele and Martin Perez here. Sean Manaea. And then, so I think for me, it's going to be a lot of probably these four for the most part are going to be the pitchers I'm going to have the most exposure to. And then maybe a mix of Martin Perez, some of these guys towards the bottom. We'll just mix in where they fit for the most part. And then bats, Boston looking really strong and actually has a strong leverage score here. Protection for under 10% ownership, over 13% chance of being the top stack on the board. Looks like they must be a little bit expensive. Only 8% chance of being the top value stack. But yeah, Boston looking good there against Joey Wentz. Tampa, of course, once again, 13. So they actually look a little bit worse than Boston in terms of top stack odds. I mean, it's pretty negligible here, but interesting to see. The ownership definitely going to be there for Tampa. Not very cheap. 6.6% chance of being the top value stack. San Francisco against Brady Singer. Always a risk of guys getting pulled late when they switch pitchers. They switch the handedness of the pitcher. Some platoon players for San Francisco. So some concern there, but still 11% chance of being the top stack at 10% ownership. San Francisco looks pretty good here. The Mets look good. Kansas City looks interesting. 12% ownership. 9% chance of being the top stack. 14% chance of being the top value stack. So not particularly expensive there for Kansas City. Another stack you can consider. Phillies going up against Nick Lodolo. Here's a scumdacker special for you. Play Nick Lodolo in some lineups, but you can also target Lodolo with some Phillies stacks. 8.2% projected ownership, 8.5% chance of being the top stack. Man, Cincinnati, that looks strong right there. This might be your single entry stack, maybe the first stack that you consider. Just 4% projected ownership with an 8% chance to be in the top stack, 10% chance to be in the top value stack. They really kind of stand out a little bit here. Texas, tough matchup with Justin Steele, but they still look okay. Detroit, I guess, has decent odds of being the top value stack here, 15% chance, but we don't really have any pitchers to pay out for. So I care a little bit less about the top value stack column on slates like this, where it's like, well, who are we paying up for? Even if they are the top value stack, but they're not the top overall stack. It's not like I'm getting to some great pitchers as a result. So maybe Detroit makes more sense if you're doing a bunch of one-offs. So like rather than Detroit as a 5-man and then a 3-man secondary stack, maybe if you play like 5 Detroit bats and then your one-offs are just the expensive studs, maybe you can make some sense of it, but less inclined to play the top value stacks on a slate like this where there's just not any great pitching to pay out for. It's a little bit tougher. Maybe they're a better secondary stack. Cubs, I believe this is a tough weather game in Wrigley, so sometimes the weather in Wrigley is really going to help you. That is not the case today. I think it's a little bit rainy, going to suppress bats a little bit more. So not the best spot, but Martin Perez, not some ace. So you can certainly play some Cubs. And Oakland looks okay. Actually getting some ownership, 4.4%, 9.7% chance to be the top value stack. So that's how we're looking for the early slate. We could try to build out a few lineups if you guys would like, or should we jump into, maybe let's build out a few lineups, then we'll jump into the later slate. Seeing a lot of chat, seeing if I missed anything. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Daryl Alexander says, "Shit my money." Said, are you asking for Adam, or are you just saying you want these sites to ship you your money? Is it a call to action? All right, let's build out a few lineups for this early slate. Let's see if we have ownership first. We might still not have ownership. Still doesn't look like we have ownership, so it's going to be a little bit tough to compare lineups. I like to see what the ownership looks like across different lineups. We can still do it real quick. I'll build out some lineups. I'll just do one unique player for now because I'm building out a bunch of lineups here. No salary, not doing anything with the salary cap. No hitters versus pitcher for me. Going to leave that at 0. Global exposure setting, I'm going to set at 30%. I might change that for pitchers. Randomness, 30%. All right, we'll run some 5-3 stacks. All right, so for the 5-mans, we'll do 10% across the board. And again, I'm not setting up my lineups right now. I'm just trying to run a bunch of different stacks, and then we'll pick out some lineups that look good. Maybe I want to do something different than 20. They'll do 18% for the secondary stack. Just trying to offset the increments a little bit here. If I have 10% for the main and then 20% for the secondary, I worry that I'm going to have too many of the same combos. So some combos coming up too often because because of the interval there where it's going to be 10 and 20. So every other theoretically could be the same stack. Not sure that it really makes a difference. Okay, I'm going to pitchers. I'm going to set my exposure a little bit higher. So this first lineup, we got It's some nice correlation with the pitcher with his stack, more likely to get the win if the stack goes off. And of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3, 5, 6. We don't have the ownership here. My guess is that this is a super high owned lineup. Looks really nice. It's a pretty lineup, but it's gonna get some ownership, I would guess. And then this one not going to project nearly as well. Big projection gap between the top one and the second one. So this second lineup can't use any of the same players as the first one. Obviously going to be a big drop in projection. Or I'm going to keep building first. Build out some 5-2s. Yeah, Daryl, I want these slates to ship my money too. I'm with you. Let's get it. Yeah, Justin Steele looks good. Looks good for cheap. All right, now I'll do some 4-4s. I'm realizing now that we have too many slates to probably be doing this full exercise. So maybe after this, I won't build out lineups. We'll just look quickly at every slate because we've got 2 slates for FanDuel and 2 slates for DraftKings. So I'm not going to be able to do this exercise for all of them. I'll finish it off for this one for the DraftKings early, and then we will just look at the other slates. Now we'll do a 4-3. And by the way, guys, if you're new to Stochastic, if you don't have access to these tools, so the top stacks tool that we're looking at, the top pitchers tool, top batters tool, all the tools that we're looking at here, you can have for $9 for 9 days. We've got that promo going on. Was set to expire, I think, today or yesterday, and then they extended it for 1 week, so you can get 9 days of these Stochastic tools, all of the tools. So again, top pitchers tool, top stacks tool, all the tools that I use. You don't get Fantasy Cruncher included, but you can hand build with these tools just as well. I've done a lot of that in the past as well when I'm doing fewer lineups. So highly recommend checking it out. 9 days for $9. It is the promo code is, I believe, Playball. Let me double check that. Pretty sure it's Playball though. The link is also in the description, so you can either enter in, promo code is Playball, or just click the link in the description. It will auto-populate that Playball promo code for you, and then you'll get access to all of our MLB content. It is, I think, the best content in the entire industry. You get our DFS projections, ownership, top stacks tool, top pitchers tool, top data tool, lineup generator, etc. Also access to Discord for those 9 days. So we've got premium Discord that's only available for members. You'll get access to that for 9 days. So make sure you check that out if you don't already have access to all the tools. Just use promo code Playball. You get all of our MLB tools for 9 days for just $9. So do check that out. All right, going back, I'm going to do some 5-man naked stacks as well, and then I'll call it. Adam Perry says, not sure if it's double counting, but I think there's evidence that wind blowing in at Wrigley depresses strikeout rates. So batters are less likely to swing for the fences, more likely for base hits and small ball approaches. So worth considering for steal ownership. Yeah, that is interesting. If I had to guess, it's double counting just because that's going to affect the total for the game. So I think it is a little bit double counting, but also, yeah, maybe slightly, but it is something to consider. Maybe it maybe there's a little bit more downside risk with steal as a result. That's an interesting tidbit. Now I'll sort by projection. because you have to think the bookmakers know that, so it's going to be included in his line for strikeouts, which then goes into his projection. All right, so our top projected lineup here. Yeah, Springs and Steele, and then we get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from Tampa, and then some one-offs. So this is what I've been expecting to see. I haven't actually seen this in the past. We've seen a lot of our top projected lineups being like full 5-3 stacks, which has thrown me off a little bit. But now we see what I expect to see with our top projected, which is 5-man stack and then 3 one-offs, where you're not being as restrictive in your settings. You're allowing Fantasy Cruncher to push up that projection with these one-offs. So we see Ramuto, David VR, and Rob Refsnyder as one-offs with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the Tampa stack. And I mean, the ownership is probably going to be there, I would guess, on this particular stack. Okay, so Rob Refsnyder. This looks like, let's see, is Aha Bro? I wonder if he's still in chat. I know in the past, Aha Bro has said he will sometimes, if there is bad chalk, although Refsnyder is the one hole. So I don't know if this necessarily applies, but in some instances, I know Aha Bro will say with a player like who's cheap, who's going to be chalky because they're cheap. Sometimes a $2,200 player will require that they are only in lineups where they are stacked with other players. I'm not sure if this applies because he is the leadoff hitter in Detroit, so maybe not the best example of that. Again, look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Tampa, make it into a lot of different lineups here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then so here's a 4-3 with 3, 4, 6 from Philadelphia. Lamont Wade is a one-off. And do all of these have Springs and Steele? Spring Steele. Yep. Finally, we get a Bailey Falter lineup with Jeffrey Springs. Interesting. Again, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from Tampa, 1, 2 from San Francisco, and JT Realmuto. This is a much harder exercise when we don't have ownership here, so we'll continue on, take a look at some of these other slates. We'll look at FanDuel. Adam says, probably yes, but K-props are usually less efficient. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. It's your golden birthday, Nicker. So you are 8 years old. Happy 8th birthday, Nicker. Isn't that golden birthday means like the day of the month? That's how old you are. So today being April 8th, that would mean that you're 8 years old. maybe I don't know what golden birthday means, but happy birthday. Kevin O says, I like that 7, 8, 9 spot in Tampa for debt value. Yeah, I'm guessing that's also going to be lower owned. We don't have the top batters, so I can't see the ownership on individual bats right now. So it's probably, I guess I could probably pull it up on the site. Let's see all DraftKings slates. Go to the early slate. Go to Tampa. So yeah, looks like nobody going super low owned, but yeah, when you get the catcher at 9% in a stack that's going to be popular, that's not super high owned. So yeah, we get a little bit of an ownership discount for the bottom of the order, top of the order looking a little bit chalky, as we would expect. All right, so now we can't do this exercise, sadly, for all the slates, and we don't have the ownership anyway, so it's a little bit less useful. But let's take a quick look at the different. We'll look at the top stacks tool for both slates, for both sites, and then the top pitches tool as well. So top stacks tool, we already looked at it for the early slate. We'll look at it for the main slate as well. Another Coors game. We're seeing positive leverage on the Rockies here. Just under 15% ownership, nearly 16% chance of being the top stack in Coors. So the Rockies actually looking like they're not going to be super chalky in this Coors game. Interesting to see that. Nats, the second overall odds of being the top stack, they are going a little bit over-owned, so negative leverage there, but clearly it's Great spot. Dodgers against Zach Davies. A little bit of positive leverage on the Dodgers as well. So just 10.5% ownership, 12.8% chance to be in the top stack. Of course, this info does adjust throughout the day, so it's possible things will change, but currently some positive leverage on 2 of our top 3 stacks here in Colorado and the Dodgers. So that's nice to see. St. Louis looking a little bit over-owned against Eric Lauer in Milwaukee. Atlanta, always love targeting Atlanta. 7% ownership, 8.3% chance to be in the top stack. Look good. Toronto, not oftentimes you can get Toronto at suppressed ownership because they're so expensive. Doesn't look like that's the case here. 9% ownership, 8% chance to be in the top stack. The Yankees, on the other hand, okay. I take the Yankees at 5% ownership against Cole Irvin in Baltimore. I know Baltimore no longer a hitter's ballpark, but still, it's the Yankees at under 5% ownership against Cole Irvin. Sign me up. 7.2% chance to be in the top stack. Looks like a stack I'm not going to shy away from. Jose Barrios. I don't remember. How did he do in his first start? I think that's I feel like he didn't do all that great in that start. I think Kansas City maybe got to him a little bit. Was that what that start was? Now he's facing the Angels. Kind of a tough spot for him. So if you don't think Jose Barrios has it anymore, maybe the Angels a stack you can target. San Diego, another really strong stack. Actually, really nice positive leverage on San Diego and Atlanta as well. 3% ownership, 6% chance to be in the top stack. That looks good to me. Looks like Arizona a little bit over-owned against Noah Syndergaard. Milwaukee, pretty strong odds of being the top value stack here. And then Baltimore against Johnny Brito. Michael Mass, Neil, what do you sort by after you run projections? So after I make my lineups, I typically sort by my projections, and then I go through and I handpick lineups. I look through them and I look at which ones I like. Oh God, you're right. I got baited by Nick. You're right. Didn't it's the first time I've been had. People have tried before. Usually it looked like a real name to me. All right. At least I'm good at it. I think I enunciated well. I pause in between. Let's see here. So the top stacks we've been through. Let's look at let's do both DraftKings. So we've done both DraftKings now for the top stacks. Let's look at FanDuel. We'll look at FanDuel early. We'll look at FanDuel main, and then we'll jump over to top pitchers, and then we'll call it. All right, so FanDuel early. Tampa, the top stack, as expected. Also going to be super high owned, 22% ownership, 14% chance to be in the top stack. Boston looks like some positive leverage, 9% ownership, 12.4% chance to be in the top stack. Yeah, looks good there. Sign me up for some Boston. San Francisco against Brady Singer, a little bit under-owned. Mets going a little over-owned. Kansas City, a little over-owned. Where can we find some? Ooh, Cincinnati. So Cincinnati looks like a really strong on both sites for this early slate. 3% projected ownership for Cincinnati against Bailey Falter. 7.2% chance to be in the top stack and 10.5% chance to be in the top value stack. They look really strong on both sites for the early slate. Texas, tough spot with Justin Steele, but some positive leverage there. Detroit, a little bit of positive leverage. Yeah, so Cincinnati really stands out to me from the top stacks for the early slate. Boston looks really good. San Francisco looks pretty good. Kansas City doesn't look as good, but Sean Manaea might just be washed. So still an interesting stack. And then we want to go to the main slate for FanDuel. Again, Colorado, top stack here. Washington, number 2 here. Positive leverage on Colorado. Slight negative leverage on Washington. Dodgers looking good. St. Louis a little overowned. Atlanta looking good once again against Michael Wacha. 7% ownership, nearly 9% chance to be in the top stack. Toronto. Okay, we do get a little bit of an ownership discount on Toronto on FanDuel. 7% projected ownership, 8% chance to be in the top stack. Angels a little overowned. Yankees look good again, both sites. San Diego looks good on both sides, finding some positive leverage there. Arizona, people really want to target Noah Syndergaard, and it doesn't appear that that is the right idea. So that might be a fade for me. Milwaukee looking pretty good. All right, so we've done the top stacks for both. Yeah, Michael asking, what do I need to click to see the combined ownership on a lineup? So right now I can't show you because the ownership is broken a little bit. All right, 1 second. Yeah, Danny, we will look at FanDuel here in a second. Burt Bondy, you're going to play Syndergaard. Let's take a look at top pitchers. All right, so I think we've done all 4 for the top stacks. Let's take a look at top pitchers. Okay, so we looked at DK early already. We'll look at DK main. I'll refresh here. I mean, it seems like nice leverage if everybody's trying to play the bats against Syndergaard. All right, so DK main slate pitchers. Jordan Montgomery, number 1, but some negative leverage. Again, typically willing to eat the chocolate pitcher. Charlie Morton, Johnny Brito down at 7,000, 20% chance of being top 2 pitcher and 24% chance of being the top 2 value. Yeah, Syndergaard at 6% ownership. Some nice positive leverage there. So maybe I'll be with you, Bert. If this were top stacks, I would absolutely love it. Obviously, pitchers were more willing to eat the chalk, but that's when you add in the leverage against Syndergaard, it's going to look kind of interesting. Gomber, probably not getting there myself, but there is some nice positive leverage there. So maybe, I mean, you can make a case for it for sure. He's not the cheapest on the slate. Trevor Williams is. There might be some lineups where you need either Austin Gomber or Trevor Williams in order to reach certain stacks. So there's upside in the stack as a result too. Particularly with Trevor Williams being the cheapest. So they don't need to do necessarily excellent if they're the only pitcher who allow you to get to certain stat combos. All right, we'll take a look at FanDuel. First, we'll start with FanDuel early. Yeah, Lodolo, once again, top pitcher in terms of odds of being the top 1. Well overowned, but again, pitchers don't care quite as much. Martin Perez, number 2. That's a surprise to me. Jeffrey Springs. Man, we are not loving Jeffrey Springs today. I mean, the price tag is high. So I would have expected him to have a really low top value odds, but I would have expected Jeffrey Springs to be higher in terms of top 1%. So that surprises me a little bit with Jeffrey Springs, how low he is on this list. And Martin Perez above him. Yeah, a little bit surprised by the FanDuel numbers here, but it is different. You know, you get points for a quality start on FanDuel. Different scoring there. Senga up there. So we've got 5 pitchers all with more than 10% chance of being the best pitcher on the slate. And then a little bit of a drop down to Manaea, Falter, and the rest. And then the FanDuel main slate. Yeah, we're getting Syndergaard at 1% ownership. So if you want to play him there, some positive leverage. Jordan Montgomery at the top, Charlie Morton, Eric Lauer, etc., etc. And the highest ownership going to Charlie Morton. So it looks like Jordan Montgomery, only 15% ownership with the highest odds of being the top pitcher. Eric Lauer, some positive leverage. Jose Barrios at 8,500. Again, probably just willing to eat the chalk. We don't have anybody jumping out as like a phenomenal value here. Are we taking shots on Brito? I don't know. Yeah, Barrios could be decent. I think Barrios an interesting play on both sides. Like, he's not super expensive. He's had the skill in the past. Didn't do, as I recall, I don't think he did great in his first start, which should suppress ownership a little bit. So I don't hate Barrios. Obviously a tough matchup against the Angels, but I think I'm willing to play some Barrios. All right, what else do we want to look at? About to close out. I've got another. I got to record a video on demand in a minute, but I'll show you the top batters. So we don't have the top bats tool for the early slate. We just have it for the main slate, but I can show you real quick who some of our top bats are. So a catcher, in terms of odds of putting up the top fantasy score, Will Smith, Keibert Ruiz, etc., etc. Actually, not. It's more spread out than usual. Oftentimes, you'll see that the top is lower, bottom is higher. It's I mean, it's still fairly spread out. I think I said more. I think I meant less spread out than usual. We do see some kind of rising to the top here. 10% odds being the top catcher. First base, Joey Meneses, number 1, ahead of Vlad Guerrero. Interesting. Getting some ownership there. Matt Olson not getting much ownership. Even with the season he's been having, I feel like he hits home run or two every game he plays this year. Wait, is this is yesterday's slate? Okay, we're not going to look at this. This is irrelevant info. This is from yesterday. So though I'm sure that'll be updated before the slate tonight. But yeah, don't need to look at that. Who would you play for an SP2 on DraftKings tonight for cash games? All right, let's take a look at DraftKings. Top pitchers, DraftKings main. DK main slate. So I feel like Jordan Montgomery pretty clearly number 1 there. It's down to 8,300. It's probably just Charlie Morton here. I don't think I want to. I mean, if Johnny Brito is the pitcher you need to fit in the rest of the lineup you like, maybe you go there. Let me see what happens if I just run it. So if I'm playing cash games, let's see. I'm going to go to the main slate. I'm going to allow hitters against my pitcher on a cash. I don't know if I would. I don't play cash MLB. So I'm just theorizing so I'm going to turn off randomness. Not going to set any exposure cap. It's going to be 100% for all players. Going to take out the stacks. So who are my highest owned pitchers in the top projected lineups? Clearly Charlie Morton. Now this should be already sorted by projection since I don't have any randomness on. Should be just sorted by projection as we go. I think these are the pitchers you consider. Charlie Morton, I think, is pretty clear in there for cash games. After Charlie Morton, Jordan Montgomery. So we had Jordan Montgomery in there. I'm surprised to see this a little bit. This is for DraftKings. Jordan Montgomery, highest odds of being a top 2 pitcher. It's down at 8,300, but I'm getting to a lot more Charlie Morton, who was 9,000. So Charlie Morton must project better. Yep. Pretty big gap there. So yeah, it would probably be, clearly Charlie Morton, just looking at the lineups that are coming out here. And then it would probably be either Jordan Montgomery or Johnny Brito, depending on what your lineups look like. Johnny Brito feels a little bit more risky to me, so I'm inclined to say Jordan Montgomery, but not sure if you all. Not sure what we'll see people doing for the most part. Yeah, great weather for the most part. I think Atlanta, there is some concern. We'll have to pay attention to the weather in Atlanta. I think that's really the only bad weather spot that we have to be worried about the actual game. Yeah, Michael, we have top stacks and top pitchers for the early slate. That's all in there. The only thing that's not working is, for some reason, ownership is not being automatically uploaded to Fantasy Cruncher right now, but I'm sure that's going to be fixed any moment. I'll ping the team again, make sure that they see it. Yeah, Wex, if you're new to it and you just want to play some double ups, that's it's a great way to start. There are a lot of people who, they're professional double up players too. You just have to play really high volume if that's what you want to do. I think that we've looked at everything. We've looked at both slates. We've looked at the pitchers. We looked at the bats for both slates. Am I missing anything? I think we looked at FanDuel, right, for both slates. Yeah. So I think I'm going to call it and go make my video on demand. Thank you guys very much for hanging out. Oh, great weather in Minnesota. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's. I'm glad you said it because it did remind me that I should mention you got to pay attention to that weather in Atlanta, as far as I can tell. Oh, home run prediction. That's a good idea. All right, home run prediction for. This is what slate are we on? I'll look at the early slate first. All right, where's my cutoff here? Who can I choose? I feel like it's cheating if I go with Devers. Maybe not. Pete Alonso. I don't have any strong take on who's going to hit a home run. Let's see. Who's pitching for Cincinnati? Nicholas, I probably don't want to take Kyle Schwarber in that case. Joey Wentz for Detroit, yeah. Oh, Devers is a lefty, right? So probably wouldn't be Devers anyway. Okay. Who's the best righty? Adam Duvall for the Sox? Justin Turner. Give me Justin Turner. I feel like he's an off-the-board play who could hit a home run today. I'll go with Justin Turner. Not the highest odds there, but I'll go there. Yeah, definitely. Nothing wrong with double ups if that's the way you want to play. Are the Phillies positive leverage? They must be, right, against Lodolo. They're going to not have much ownership. Early DraftKings Phillies. Actually, no. They're getting 9% ownership. 8.6% chance of being the top stack. 5.3% chance of being the top value stack. They do have the leverage in the sense that Lodolo is going to be super high owned at 30. I mean, not super high, but 30% relatively high owned. So leverage on the 30% of the field play in Lodolo. But in terms of in the top pitcher sense, not positive leverage on the Phillies. All right, I better get going. I do have to make a video on demand. Should need to get this out here pretty soon. You can find that'll be an NBA no host advantage, which tough to do those right now, to be honest. This point in the season for NBA, Not easy to do, but I'm going to try to fit that in there so you can check that out. I'll be using the tools. Thoughts on Houck? I mean, he's facing Detroit, right? It's not doesn't get much better. 2% ownership. Oh, is that put 8,300? The matchup is nice. We have a little bit of positive leverage. Who are we missing out on? If we play Hawk, we're okay. I don't mind playing him over Bailey Falter. Yeah, I mean, we're not really playing him over any other pitchers at that price tag, 8,300. There's nobody below him that I'm like, that's a clearly better play. So I think Hawk is in play if you have 8,300 left over. Going up against Detroit, nice matchup. Yeah, looks good to me. If you want to play some Tanner Hawk, have at it. All right, guys, I gotta check out here, but thanks so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Hanging out here, it's a lot more fun for me here when I have you guys to chat with, rather than just looking at the tools. So, really appreciate you guys hanging out. Please, again, if you have not yet, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button to get alerts, and check out the rest of our content for this day. I think I just have this VOD and then I'm done. I don't have my usual NBA live before lock tonight, but I will be back on Monday. I think that I'll be joined by Adam Scher on Monday for this strategy show. So really looking forward to that. Make sure you check that out as well. But thanks a lot, guys. I will catch you later.